Hey, back for another Coach's Corner. Today we're talking strength, certain things you can do. We talked a little bit about this the other day, about things you can do to make exercises a bit harder if you're searching for more of a challenge when you're doing these workouts. We'll give it a couple minutes, see if we get any other questions. So we're gonna go over some push-up variations, how we can make our push-up a bit harder. We're gonna go over some banded squat variations, different things you can do with your super band if you have a super band. A couple things you can do body weight as well with your squat to make it a bit harder. We're also gonna go over our planks and different things that we want from our planks to make sure they're nice and difficult as well. All right, Lindo, what's up? So let's talk about our push-up first. So before we get into progressions, let's talk about a couple modifications, right? We talked about possibly elevating yourself on a bench or a couch. Hey Tina, we talked about doing a push-up possibly from your fist. If you are on a bench or a couch, or elevate a softer position or a softer couch or chair to maybe go here with your push-up to keep that wrist nice and strong. If you're having wrist pain in this really flexed position. The other thing we can do is you can take your band, we can loop it around your back. Nice strong wrist position, and we push out, and we can get some chest presses here as well if being on your wrist bothers you, right? To make that one a little bit harder, to keep both out, and we go one at a time, keeping constant tension on our chest the entire time. You can always anchor a band to a doorway, doorknob, corner of the door, and get your chest presses here as well as another way to kind of modify if being on your hands bothers your wrist as well. So we're talking about push-up modification just because a couple people have asked about, we're doing a ton of push-ups, my wrist feel, I have a little bit of pain in my wrist. So here as well for those chest presses, okay? Now we need to make our push-up harder, right? First thing we do is slow the tempo down a bit. So if you're in your push-up here, we do a slow motion down, pause at the bottom, and a slow motion up, right back into it, right? And you're not gonna spend any time at the top of that push-up. As soon as you get to the top, come right back down, slow motion, hold at the bottom, and then slowly push out of it. What's up, Frank? Talking push-ups. Hey, Daria. So another way to increase the difficulty of that push-up is to add that band around your back. We're gonna go across your shoulder blades and mid-back below your elbows. And you still can go nice and slow. Pause at the bottom, push up right back down slowly, right? So you still can control that tempo with that extra resistance. The third way you can increase the difficulty of your push-up is to elevate your feet. So if I'm up on the bench here, you can do a decline, push-up, and back out. So a bunch of different ways that you can progress the push-up to make it a bit harder. I'm using a red band here. You can also get a thicker band, black band, yellow band as well to make that push-up a bit harder. When you're talking squats, right? If you don't have any weights or a heavy enough kettlebell for your goblet squats, things like that, get creative, right? I saw someone squatting with a pack of 24 bottles of water. That will be heavy, right? You can fill up a bucket of water. All of us have mops, right, in our houses. So you fill up that mop bucket of water, and I really like that variation. I should have brought one in here with me, but because the water is gonna move around, so it's gonna force you to stay nice and tight and kind of control that rep. So if you're looking for some weight and you're looking for a way to kind of make your squats harder, hey Diane, grab a bucket, fill it up with water. That's a great way. It's gonna slow you down and make you focus on your technique as well. Okay, there's a couple ways to use a band. What's up, John? To give ourselves a bit of resistance for our squat. Easiest way, step on your band, and then we're just gonna grab it by the sides and pull it right up into that goblet position, right? Just like you have a kettlebell. And as we squat, I wanna press our knees out against the band and give ourselves a little bit of resistance there as well, okay? You also can front rack the band to put a bigger stretch on it. So I'm gonna go up over my shoulders, elbows high, and squat here, okay? And again, if you have that thicker band, right, you can increase the resistance that way as well. And also, again, slowing down, using tempos, pauses at the bottom, slow motion, right? And even for the squat especially, band and squat variations, if we're here, nice and slow on the way down, pause, and pop up. You don't have to jump, but that explosiveness to the top will also increase the difficulty of your squat. Any questions? We're gonna start talking about our planks and things in a second here. But if anyone has any questions, let me know. I can see them on the bottom, so I have my glasses on today. So let me know. Now, when it comes to our plank, right, a couple things. One, at Stronger, we very rarely, if ever, do very long sets of planks, right? You're never gonna see a 2-minute plank or a 3-minute plank or a 4-minute, anything like that, because if you're doing a plank for that long, most likely you are not activating enough muscle, you're not pushing yourself hard enough, you're just kind of hanging out in that position. We want all of our planks to be active, right? And by active, we mean we're trying to activate as much muscle, squeeze as much muscle as possible, okay? So we're in our push-up plank, okay? And we do this from the side. First things first, my hand is gonna be directly underneath my shoulder. I'm gonna spread my fingers, dig into the ground, grab the ground with my hands. Then I'm gonna step back, I'm gonna push the ground away. And then from there, I'm squeezing my core, I'm squeezing my glutes, I'm squeezing my quads, I'm squeezing everything I can to stay strong in that plank position. Once I have all of that tension, then I'm gonna breathe in through my nose, out through pursed lips, or like forced breaths out, because that increases the tension. As I breathe out, I can feel my core tightening even more. Okay, if you're really doing a plank the right way, or what we would say the most beneficial way, then after like 20, 30 seconds, you should be shaking a little bit. You know, as you're watching Diane and Frank and Quinn and Matt and those guys and women do the workouts, you're gonna see that sometimes with the planks, they're like actually shaking, like they're vibrating. That's how much tension we want you to create in that push-up, right? If I'm doing a push-up from my elbows, okay? I'm gonna stack my elbows underneath my shoulder again, right here. And then I'm gonna step back. When I'm in this position, I'm pushing the ground away with my elbows, but I'm also pulling my elbows back towards my toes and pulling my toes towards my elbows. So what I'm doing is I'm creating tension by trying to draw those two points of contact together, right? So I'm pulling my elbows down towards my feet and pulling my feet towards my elbow. When you do that correctly, you're gonna feel that core get really tight, okay? And again, we never hold our breaths in any of these planks, right? A lot of times we see members do planks and get up and they're out of breath. Yes, you should be a bit out of breath, but it shouldn't be because you're holding your breath. You want to breathe through all of these exercises, okay? Talking about our side elbow plank, same thing. Stack that elbow right underneath your shoulder. You're gonna press through the sides of your feet, up. Think about squeezing the core. Think about squeezing this glute, squeezing these quads. And then we're gonna bring this up. And I even like to make a fist and hold this top arm up to create tension through this arm as well. So the whole time, I'm nice and strong here, squeezing everything. I like to say, if someone comes by and makes a mistake and trips and falls on you, they should go flying the other way, all right? Or they should get a bruise from falling on you because you're rock solid like a statue, okay? So anytime you're going to those planks, think about being rock solid. Think about squeezing, starting from your core out, all right? Another topic a couple people ask about is breath, or how do I breathe when I'm exercising. I feel like I get really out of breath after a set or after some core work. And again, a lot of times that may be because you're holding your breath. Other than that, there are a couple different breathing techniques that I'm gonna go over. And these by no means are all the breathing techniques, but just some simple ways to make sure you're getting the most out of your exercises and your movement patterns. Again, at Stronger, we always want to be coaching. We always want to make sure the workouts are safe and effective for everyone. So these are a couple different breathing techniques you can use while lifting, all right? So grab a couple kettlebells. So, first breathing technique is our most simple technique, and that's just you're gonna breathe in on the way down and out on the way up, or concentric phase of the exercises. So, an example of that is if I'm squatting here, right? I'm gonna breathe in as I squat down and breathe out on my way up. In through my nose on the way down, and out on the way up, okay? If you're doing a push-up, right? It's gonna be the same thing, in on the way down, so in, and out, all right? For most, we're the best ab-centric finishers after stressing abs in a core workout, right? Lots of options, John. We'll come back to that in a second. We get to this breath work, and we're gonna talk more about stressing the abs in a core workout. Okay, so basic breath, in on the way down, out on the way up. For most exercises, that's your breathing pattern. That's the one that you're gonna wanna use the most, okay? The second one we're gonna talk about is a power breath. Okay, and this is for all our power exercises, our squat jumps, our kettlebell swings, skater hops, anything like that, right? Where we're trying to be explosive and powerful, med ball slams. This breath, you're gonna try to match with the power movement of the exercise. So if I'm doing a squat jump, I'm gonna do a breath in and a breath out. So I'm using a forced, quick breath to help me power through a movement, right? If I'm doing a kettlebell swing and I'm using that same breath, I set in here, right? Same thing, you're using that power breath, right? So it's gonna be fast and it's gonna be explosive to match the movement, okay? Last breath we're gonna talk about is our max heavy weight, heavy load breath, okay? You're not gonna use this breath as much as Stronger, but it'd be good for you to know a bit about it. So this is the breath. We're gonna take a deep breath in, fill our belly with air, hold that, create tension around it, and then go through our exercise, okay? So if I'm doing a very heavy goblet squat, the idea is that you create air and abdominal pressure, right? And all that means is that we're creating as much pressure as possible in our core and around our back to protect ourselves under that heavy weight, okay? So if I'm here, set for my goblet squat, I'm here, I'm gonna take my big breath in, fill my belly with air, hold it, squat, come up, fill it with air again, hold it. So, it's a bit of an advanced breathing technique, and again, you're very rarely gonna use it during our exercises or during our workouts, but it's good for you to know and to be aware of that weight is super heavy, that we need to create as much tension as we possibly can, and we do that by filling our belly up with air and then bracing around that air, holding that in through the pattern, and then taking your breath at the top or at the resting point of the exercise, and then repeating that whole thing. And again, you're very rarely gonna do that here, but it's good for you to know. And that's for low reps, like 3 reps, 4 reps, 2 reps, things like that, because you don't wanna be holding your breath. The breathing pattern I really wanna hammer home today is that breath in on the way down and out on the way up. So again, if we're doing a goblet squat, we're here, and we're gonna breathe in, out. All right? Those are your breathing technique options. Hey Dave, so we're gonna get into John's question. So John's question is best ab-centric finishers after stressing abs in a core workout. Tons of options here, right? You're really gonna see a ton of core exercises in the workouts. Looking for a core finisher. I love finishers that are a little bit quicker. So I'm gonna give you a couple different examples where we utilize a 10 seconds of movement, a 10-second hold pattern, okay? So one of those, an example of that is gonna be a shoulder tap, 10 seconds, and then a plank hold for 10 seconds. So we're in our finisher, we're gonna do 10 seconds of shoulder taps, and then 10 seconds hold this plank position. Again, 10 second shoulder taps, 10-second hold. And we will try to do that for upwards of a minute and 20 seconds at the most. And you can use that 10 seconds movement, 10-second hold template for tons of different things. You can use it for beast planks. If I do a 10-second hold here, then 10 seconds movement. You can walk out, 10 seconds back and forth, and then hold for 10 seconds. Lots of different options. You can kind of play with that template of 10 seconds of movement and 10-second hold. Same thing you can do on your back with our dead bug series. If you're here, 10 seconds alternating leg extensions, 10-second hold, or 10-second hold out, and then repeat. So lots of different things. You can circle back to your planks. You can circle back to your side planks. Lots of different things you can do to kind of stress your core, but you're always gonna get a ton of core work in the workouts themselves. But yeah, if you want more, absolutely ask a coach, pull us to the side, say, hey, I want some more core stuff, and we'll make sure that you're getting that challenge. Great question. Any other questions? Workouts, planks, our major movement patterns. One other movement pattern that we're gonna go over today is our row. We're gonna go over our stagger row and our 3-point row. Just a couple small things to improve the pattern of exercise. So when we talk our rows, we want to, again, make sure that we're activating the right muscle, okay? So if I'm doing a row, I'm trying to connect to this lat and to these back muscles, right? So first thing, I'm gonna keep my elbow pretty close to my side. I don't want my elbow out here. I always say we don't want any chicken wings when we're doing our row, right? You're gonna stay nice and tight to your body. And the second thing is we wanna pull back a little bit, okay? So if we're in this nice 3-point row position, I have my nice tall posture, my chest is up, I'm here. I'm not gonna row and pull to my shoulder, okay? I'm gonna row and pull back towards my hip. So I'm here, pull back towards your hip, keep that elbow and upper arm tight to your body, and think about squeezing that lat, okay? Last thing, we don't want to roll our shoulder. If we come up and we roll, eventually my shoulder's gonna roll forward. So you're only gonna roll to about this high, in line with your body, maybe a tad higher, but we don't want you bringing your elbow all the way up here. No lawnmowers, right? Stay nice and square, just a little bit in line with your torso, maybe a little bit higher, and back down, okay? Same thing for your stagger row, right? If we're here and we're in our stagger row position, 1, I gotta make sure I stay square, right? 2, chest up. You should be able to read what's under my chest if I have something written on my t-shirt, okay? Then we're here, same thing, I'm pulling back towards my pocket and I'm not rolling straight up. My shoulder's down and I'm pulling back. And same thing, we don't wanna roll all the way up here where the shoulder rolls. Stay in line, squeeze that lat, and think about connecting to those back muscles, all right? So we're gonna continuously do these coaches corners and Q&As. If you guys have any questions about any of the workouts, anything we're doing, right, just let us know, shoot us a quick message, and we'll address them in these question and answer sessions. We're gonna keep refining technique, again, because it's so important. The better your technique, the better you're moving, the stronger you can get, and the better the workout's gonna be for you, all right? So I hope you enjoyed this technique breakdown. Again, if there's any movement patterns or any exercises that you'd like me to talk about, or some other coaches to talk about, let us know. Let's keep getting stronger together.